ending zeros in decimals are not needed. That's kind of the gist of today's little lesson there. It's a pretty simple little thing. In other words, this. If I have 6.3000 and I asked you to tell me to read that number for me, who thinks they can read that number? First of all, it's going to be 6 and what? 6 and... Alex?
6 3/10.
That is not 6 3/10. Because those zeros are there, you can't say that that's 6 3/10. You have to actually say that that number is 6 and... We seem like we're grasping here. You actually have to say that number is, and that's why, Alex is a case in point why we simplify, because we don't want to have to do this if we don't have to. Saying this number, it is what, Brooke? What do we simplify? We can't even say this number. It is not. I don't know where you guys are getting your millions from. Let's review here what you have to do. 6 and, how do you say that number? That's 3,000. What place is this last zero in? No. Tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. To say this number, you would say 6 and 3,000 10,000s. And that's no fun for anyone. That's why they say, since these zeros don't mean anything after a decimal, when we say simplifying it, we mean let's take those away and just write it as, like Alex said, 6 and 3/10, because it means the same thing. Okay. Now later, when you get to the really harder math, there are times when they'll say you have to keep those zeros for various reasons. Okay. Sometimes we have to keep them, like when we talk about money. You know, if I'm saying $6.30, okay, I have to keep that zero because, you know, we know pennies, we have pennies in that cents place. Never do we write $6.30 like this, even though that's what $6.30 is. It's really 6 3/10 of a dollar, but we don't ever use money like that. We always talk in terms of cents. Since we have 100 of them, we keep it like that. So money, you have to keep the zero. But when we write out numbers like this, okay, we don't need it, nor do we want it because it makes it a lot more difficult. But don't get that confused with this. If you see this, you can't just get rid of that zero there, because then you're changing the number. This number here is 6 and 3/100. If you got rid of the zero there, then it would change to 6 and 3/10, and those aren't the same number. So it's only when you finish up with zeros that you can do that. Let's look at some examples from the book. For example, if you have this problem, 3.65, and I am adding 6.35. Okay, when I add those together, I get 5 plus 5 is 10, 9 plus 1 is 10. Let's bring down my decimal. I get 10.00. Which is okay, but if I asked you to simplify that, you would just simply say that number simplified is, Kayleen?
10.
Yeah, you would just say it's 10. You wouldn't say it's 10 and 0/100 or 10 and 0/10 or whatever, you just say the number 10. Or if you had something that looked like this, 0.320, to simplify that, you would just do what? Ryan?
32,000.
Well, 3,200s. Tens, hundreds, thousands. This was 320,000, so you take the zero away, it's 3,200s. So that's what we're